on a pre-show. We're rolling. Welcome to the BlabberMalt Show with your hosts, Dave and Matthias, two guys that blabber incessantly about beer, brewing, and bullcrap. Stick around while they brew up another tasty episode.
Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing?
Hey, good, man. We're here, episode 35, November 21st, 2023.
Get at it.
We got one of the Ghost Tree dudes here, Mike. Good to have you, man.
Thank you.
Let's
It's time to mash in.
let's get ready to mash in here, bro.
Let's get the day going.
Yeah, and before we get too far, don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the notification bell, share, make a comment, so you never miss an exciting episode.
Absolutely.
And go to the Printify shop and get yourself something nice.
Woo-hoo.
Christmas is coming.
Christmas is coming.
That's right.
Very soon, by the way.
Can we still get it by Christmas if we order today?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, plenty of time.
T-shirts, pint glasses.
Yeah, and if you have any questions or concerns, we make mistakes, hit us up, blabbermalt@gmail.com.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Which happens a lot.
Yes. So how's your guys' weekend? What'd you guys get into?
I had a great weekend. I'm still part of a homebrew club, Mansfield Homebrew Club. We did our annual pub crawl. So $100 all in for a charter bus out of the Phoenix Brewing Company in Mansfield. We visit 3 breweries.
Okay.
All you can drink all day.
Nice.
We visited Ghost Tree, Clag in Sandusky, and Twin Oaks.
Nice.
So, and of course, bottle shares on the bus the whole way. So,
Oh, yeah.
good crowd. A lot of fun throughout the day. We do it every November. So, good event.
What were the
Check
highlights?
that box for next year, Dave.
Yeah, definitely.
We're always looking for
Mansfield
we're always
Homebrew
looking
Club.
for breweries to go to. We could probably do an Avon Medina in the same trip too. I mean,
Well, I think we should just be on the bus.
I mean, you can do that too. I mean, if you get a seat early enough.
Yeah.
What
What were the highlights? Some of the highlights.
Um,
Favorite beers?
It was good to bring everybody to Ghost Tree. Obviously, sampling the beers that you had stopped by last week and had.
Mhm.
The Yukon Cornelius was a big hit. The Double Tropic Thunder, and of course, the Coffee Blonde. I think those were the three.
Yep.
The 3 big ones. We didn't pull any nails though. So,
No? Well, we got lucky.
Yeah,
We got
we
lucky.
had the winner.
Yeah, we did.
level there. Clag, Kai has some great beers over there. Hazies. It was it was funny. We were calling it introduction sours, the fruited sours.
Okay.
Over there. And
Yeah.
a lot of the people that go in the pub crawl, more of the older light beer drinking crowd, and to see them with drinking around fruited sours, and kind of using that as a gateway is interesting. And then Twin Oaks this time of year launched their Belgian double, the Sugar Rock. Very good. And then they also had a Imperial Hazy IPA called the Humble Giant.
Oh, I haven't had that one.
Yeah,
I get up to Twin Oaks quite a bit. Yeah. More so in the summer.
True. How about you, Dave?
Yeah, we had Friday night. We found our way into Lakewood and hit Rosie's and Rosie's. I don't know. I say Rosie's.
I say Rosie's. It's like potato. It's the same thing.
Yeah, I also say
Everybody knows.
I also say Miracly. So,
And I say Miracle.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
That's a fun story too for another time.
Yeah, so we were at Rosie's and they had some good stuff out there. I had I wrote down what I had here. Bookhouse, Small Change. It was pretty good. American IPA, but it was quite hazy for West Coast, but it was delicious, beautiful.
Bon always does a nice job.
Mm-hmm. I had another beer from Fanta Flora from Nebo, North Carolina. If Tiffany, my niece, is watching, she's from North Carolina. I don't really know how close she is to Nebo. I think Nebo is up near Asheville. I don't know. Geography's hard. But Unusual Frequency was the double IPA I had there. And we kind of wandered through Lakewood. We ended up at, what's the name of that bar? The last place we went to? It's a bourbon bar in the...
See, this is when you email.
O'Donnell's. It was on O'Donnell's, yeah. O'Donnell's, yeah. It was late in the night. I found that Twitchy Pumpkin Coffee with habanero from Arche. And I said, you can give me that one right there. So
nice. You showed a picture of that.
Yeah. Friday night, good beers. Saturday night, I was back in Sandusky for another Perkins High get-together, pre-Thanksgiving. A bunch of people were home. Ended up at another dive bar in Perkins, and guess what was on tap? Rheingeist Truth.
Always. We
No
talked about that before.
fatheads. I mean, I don't know. They're dropping the ball.
Especially out there on the Sandusky area every time.
They also had, they did have Great Lakes, Christmas Ale, and Shinerbach.
Ooh.
And there was a friend of mine who lives in Texas now, and he's like, I can't believe they have Shinerbach on draft. So,
Well, that's fun.
I drank them all.
You know, speaking of Perkins, they had a big football game on Friday night.
They did. Perkins is pretty good this year, from what I understand.
Yeah, they crushed people in the regular season. Came up against Glenville on Friday night and lost, but
Yeah.
hey, it's a feat to go as far as they did. So
Yeah.
kudos to your
that's
alma
good.
mater. Yeah.
PHS.
PHS.
I'm not going to tell you what class I'm from, but
It's okay. Football, same with us every week, right? So the boys, we were playing. Avon was playing at Strongsville High School. We played Medina Highland and won. So 14-0. Playing this week kind of changes up our whole entire holiday week, right?
yes.
Practice all week. We have Thursday morning practice. We have a team meal together in the morning, so kind of a Thanksgiving feast breakfast, which is kind of fun. So we're making a bunch of food for that. But kind of backtracking a little bit for me, I did get a chance to actually do something this weekend. Apart from that, went to the Browns game on Sunday.
Oh, good.
Witnessed a wonderful win by our hometown Brownies. Took the boys and stopped on the way home. Stopped at Noble Beast
Okay.
for some food and a couple drinks, and I tried. Of course, I wanted to have all of their beers while I was there, but had their Cobra Chrome, which is their double hazy, and their Big Feelings, which is their single hazy. Both were excellent. Food was wonderful. Sean was there. I gotta say hi, and he had to get me to the game too. But it was just a great day all around.
Nice.
And with that, those beers are fantastic. So if you never been out to Noble Beast, you should make that trek and
Yeah.
try one of their
Got some good stuff.
beers on tap. They're wonderful.
Yeah, we got to get them in here one of
I
these days.
agree.
Yeah.
Sean, if you're watching, if someone sends this to you, come to the show, man.
Yeah.
We'll come hang out.
Yeah. So, Mike, you get do anything fun this weekend, or
Just the pub crawl.
Yeah, just the pub
crawl's
crawl.
big one, and then obviously just recovering on Sunday from
Yeah.
it. So,
Okay. Yeah.
Well, you can drink at 3 breweries, especially Clegg.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
well,
you
it's
got-
happened before. Phoenix opens up for us at 9 a.m.
What?
And so you can start at 9, and then it's just bottle share on the bus the whole way. What's the best thing you've collected over the last year that you
Yeah.
can share with a bus of 55 people?
And then you got some youngins probably vying for your attention on Sunday, and you're
Yeah.
nursing the head.
Fortunately, they like football that it can entertain them just like a Sunday morning cartoon. So.
Perfect.
It's time for the Vorloff.
All right, man.
Best part of the day.
Yes. This is where we get down and dirty and ask our guest brewer all the questions we've been dying to know. Yes. Get some beer.
Yes.
I got this. Janelle brought this back from Blue Heron. It's a big boy, bourbon barrel aged, Bozilla. It's 11%.
In a
But-
crowler,
In a crowler.
nonetheless.
Yeah, we're gonna get into this.
I'm going to go for a little bitty of those.
Yeah.
I hope we share. Do you want a big glass?
Got the peanut gallery. Want some beers? That was a bad pour. My bad.
Even better for me. That's good.
Mike has really started to put together a good barrel program. The Blue Heron.
Oh, yeah.
I know it's not
totally.
large, but he always seems to come out with just a great selection every year.
Love Blue Heron. While we're on the track of Medina and Blue Heron, coming up on Friday, we have our big kind of our Christmas beer showing night before Christmas, and it is a kind of a beer fest food event for people in Medina County to kind of promote and collaborate with our Medina County breweries. And we'll put the link below. There's still a few tickets left, not a whole lot. It's a nice little spread of food it's at Blue Heron. There'll be all the 8 Medina breweries, and they'll all be pouring their version of Christmas ale and one of the other beers. So come drink and eat. Tickets, we'll put that link below here for the Medina County Brewery Black Friday Christmas extravaganza.
That sounds awesome.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And they'll be there. So cheers to that.
Cool. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
So we always the first thing we always want to know is how you got into brewing, and we kind of got into that a little bit last week. Is there any other?
So I think there's 2 stories there. One, obviously, with Dan and John from Ghost Tree, how they got into it, and then how I got into it. Blad actually started homebrewing back in the early '90s. I think you mentioned that last week.
Yeah.
I think he went through college out in Colorado, and got a hold of some Fat Tire in there, and kind of got him hooked from there. And when he moved to Ohio, he was actively homebrewing at that point for 20 years, and moved next door to John Rush, and John was always a big Sierra Pale Ale fan and IPA fan, and always wanted to brew. And then I think just a good match there. For me, I was actually sitting at the Phoenix Brewing Company in Mansfield, and one night when I was dating my wife at that point, and said that I would really like to put a draft beer system in my apartment. She's like, why don't you just learn how to make your own? I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, well, I can teach you. And I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, she went to school to be a science teacher and actually took a beer brewing class at Heidelberg University.
And you're like, she's the one.
Yeah,
she's
we're
going
to get married.
That we got so that next weekend we bought a homebrew setup and brewed a Dunkelweizen. And we were engaged then, and called it till Dunkel do his part. And then I think it just there's times from there I wonder if she regrets getting me involved into it, but then there's some times where we take her on a pub crawl, and we're at Ghost Tree, and she's like, I'm so glad you do this. But
yeah, it's cool. It really is. Yeah, nice. I like to hear the origin stories, and it always starts out with you said a Dunkelweizen as your first beer. How was it?
It was funny. The first beer actually turned out really well. It was the beers that followed, because the first beer, you put in that fermenter and you baby it, and
Yeah.
But then you get kind of intrigued. You're like, well, what's it look like when it's fermented? The second and third go around, they weren't as good. You're starting to kind of open and peek in there, and you want to see what the Krausen looks like. You want to start
crack that bucket open.
Yep. Yeah. So it was the first one. Well, it was the other. It took, I think, again until batch probably 7 or 8 when I think I did like a 2-hearted clone. And then I was like, yes, that's.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's good.
2-hearted. Yeah. Best beer in America. Like how many years running?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. So, I mean, you mentioned that, Dan's kind of his gateway into the craft brewing world. I mean, were you a domestic drinker prior to having some craft beer? How old are you, by the way?
So I am 35 years old.
Okay.
I came through, when I was in college in 2009, 2010, 2011. It was an exciting time in craft beer. I mean, we went, I went to school at Bowling Green. We had a city tap there that had, 50 taps, 50 craft taps in a small college town. And, and from somebody that went to drinking, Miller High Life to, sitting down like this, they have Samuel Smith oatmeal stout, and I remember getting the first one of those, and I'm like, this is a lot different. It's not, it's not this Guinness that, kind of has a burnt taste to it, but it's real flavorful. Well, and that was kind of one of more my gateway beers. I really didn't go for IPAs until, much later. I kind of went from light beers to stouts, for the longest time.
Yeah, I still, Sam Smith oatmeal stout was one of the ones that I had very early on, but it was earlier than you. But yeah, I was like, wow, this is crazy. Yeah. It's crazy how different it is from Guinness. And you think, oh, both dark beers, they got to taste similar, because every light beer you ever had, Miller Lite, Coors Light, was always the same.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you think about, and we hear it all the time as people who have a restaurant too, when people say, all Guinness, it's so heavy, it's a meal in a glass. And that's been a kind of perpetual thing for many, many decades. And
for sure.
When you look at Guinness itself, it's actually quite drinking it now based on all the other kind of really thick stouts that are out there. It's really thin.
It is. Light body.
It's chuggable. And it's like 4%.
Yeah.
So, and then you're not even, now we're into 10% 11% season here,
Right,
for stouts,
for sure.
and so, the whole Guinness thing, it's a good comparison, but
Yeah.
as you said, the burnt versus the sweetness and the love.
And even if you get into the Guinness stouts, you have the export stout, and they're kind of their tropical stout, and what you get at the brewery, never been, but I hear it's a lot different, and it's fun to just go down that rabbit hole when you're starting out as a brewer, and a craft beer fan, just finding all these little idiosyncrasies within the styles and the different recipes that there are.
So as a stout brewer, did you brew a homebrew stout, or is it something that you like to brew? Tell us about that. What kind of stouts have you brewed?
It was funny. So as home brewing wise, stouts were very early on the list. Even at Ghost Tree, one of the first, I think the first big beer Ghost Tree did was Nightwalker. Kind of an imperial stout that we launched in bottles last year. Out of a barrel. But as a home brewer, stouts were very early on, and then I kind of started getting that IPA, kick and everything like that. But as a home brewer, I still, always challenged myself. I liked the big stouts. I went, pretty quickly up the ladder.
Right.
And then, as a homebrew club, you kind of get that first barrel. Get a bunch of guys, throw everything you can into a barrel, and play like that too. But at a professional level, we've seen the market, Ghost Tree is in Amherst, and it's a light beer crowd, but don't you dare run out of that stout. But, what we found is when we ran out of the Belgian Quad is don't you run out of your big beers either.
That's good.
You got to have that one, so we have the Dave Trappell right now.
Dave Trappell.
It's a good beer.
You got to have it.
I'm Dave Trappell, man. So what's the next question here? Oh, transition to professional.
Yeah, so
That's a big jump.
Yeah, it is. But I'll start with kind of Dan and John. Obviously, Dan mentioned last week that he ran Buckeye Canning for a number of years. Became Ironheart there. And I think he went through the process of always wanting to own a brewery. He was visiting all these breweries in their early stages, Fatheads, Columbus Brewing Company, all Jackios, all those big ones, and kind of meeting these people and being around beer so much that his intention, I think, was to always get into that, make that jump into a brewery. And John and his vision, being engineering background and everything like that, was kind of a good combination to get Ghost Tree up and going. Unfortunately, they were doing it during the middle of a pandemic. But it's paid off to see where they're at now, and the expansions I'm sure we'll probably get to here in a little bit, but and what's coming in the future. But for me, obviously home brewing was a lot of fun. It's not my that switch to full-time brewing or professional brewing. It's not my full-time job. I think we all wish a lot of us wish it could be. But it's a fun side job. And it's one of those that work my 8 to 5 and then go into the brewery for a little bit. And, I'd say work out some frustration there when need to, but
yeah.
I mean, it's not my full-time job either. and it's not Dan's full-time job either.
No,
so
it's
I think it's funny that, Dan has been brewing for so long and has always wanted to start his own brewery, but it took him quite a long time to make that jump. I wonder what, went into that calculus over the years. It's like, because I've thought about it, believe me, and I went through the machinations and I actually looked at the railroad property before they bought it, and
it's for sale now.
At the end of the day, I couldn't do it. But Dan finally did it, which is awesome. Yep. I love that.
I think for most home brewers, I think it always goes through, I think, any home brewer's mind at some point. They might scale off of that in the future. I mean, I did the same thing. I looked into opportunities like that, and then you get around it enough, and you get to know a lot of people, and I'm still working my day job, and I'm running a brewery, and
right.
and so it worked out with Ghost Tree. I think we mentioned last week that with the Brewersville, I had helped around several area breweries, just part time or just help on a brew day or something like that, and won some homebrew competitions, had some beers on tap at various breweries and stuff. So learned kind of the professional system, but then Ghost Tree was looking for somebody a little bit more, I wouldn't say regular, not full time, but regular to help out, and I was able to step in and kind of start out doing some cellaring work, and then it graduated to helping on brew day. Then it graduated to doing full brew days, and then as 2.0 is growing and seeing the opportunity to kind of step in and kind of help manage the beer process or the brewing process a little bit. It's been a great opportunity.
So are you satisfied with that level of involvement, or do you still have that itch?
It's funny because being around at the level that I am now, you see how tough it really is to manage and operate a brewery.
For sure. Yeah.
It is unbelievable how much goes in behind the scenes. And having those discussions with Dan and John. When Ghost Tree started, they just wanted to open a brewery. They bought the alley next door thinking, we'll just back some food trucks in there and we'll have food trucks. Well, then they realized that downtown Amherst does not allow food trucks.
Oh, yeah.
And so, they opened up, obviously in July of 2020, what a time to try to open. And at that point, they didn't even have the equipment on site, but they were, doing more of a bottle shop and carry out, bottles, which we still have the cooler now with, all your slushy sours and your fruited sours and all your, fun big beers and stuff. Because it stuck. But, to see their plan, but they always say that, they wanted to open a brewery, but now they have an entire restaurant, an entire brand.
The market will tell you what you got to do.
Yeah.
And it told them.
Yeah. And so for me, it's, it's been fun to be a part of. I always wanted to own a brewery, but then seeing everything that goes into it, I'm just having a hell of a lot of fun just brewing the beer.
You're having the fun and not the headaches, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
So I want to talk about a few things, right? I want to kind of tell a story about Dan and the process of knowing him from the canning, Buckeye Canning, all the way down to where you're at today, and then maybe jump into 2.0, which is exciting for people out here because it's up till today has been a, what would you say?
Super hush-hush?
Super hush-hush, almost like a white unicorn type of conversation online. Not really denied, but not really put out there. So it's exciting that Dan has given you a little bit of leeway to say what's up with 2.0 right here on the BlabberMalt Show, everybody.
By the way, Dan was going to be here, but he ended up staying with some family that he hasn't seen in a while. So I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah, definitely a good human. Drink to the good human.
Oh yeah, good humans.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to Four Paws, which I almost went to on Friday night after the game. Out in Strongsville.
Good place.
But it was late.
I'm sorry I interrupted you.
No, it's all good. There's a lot to talk about today. So in early 2015, I'm an educator. So is Dan. And so is BJ for a minute, right? And we were sitting around a table, and he's a supervisor at our school. Him and his brother had Cornerstone Brewing Company in Berea, and just had opened up Madison, and how that was going in the midst of a time of just beginning the wave here in the Cleveland area. I think Cornerstone was one of the first 3 or 4 in the area, but now there's like 5 or 6 or 7, right? And what that looks like, and Buckeye, BJ and Dan just got the go-ahead to bring in craft beer to the Cleveland Browns stadium. And so I didn't know a whole lot about that world at the moment, but we had been looking at opening our own space, right? We had been home brewing and doing really well for ourselves and wanted to open up our own brewery. So we're sitting around talking, and everybody's like, what do you mean craft beer, right? This is 2014, 2015. And they're like, well, this guy has Cornerstone, and he's leaving education to go do, planning on doing a mobile canning outfit. And they're like, mobile canning? I'm like, yeah, I want to be a brewery owner too. And so this kind of is a joke, right? And so Cornerstone's still around. Obviously, Buckeye Canning took off, and there's now Ironheart. And how many states are they in? It's a lot. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. But really kind of in our area, housed out of Elyria, the same place they've always been. So maybe
for like the non-brewery world,
Yep.
people that are watching, like a mobile canning unit will come in and they have the canning line and all the equipment, and you just have to chill your beer, get it carbed in the bright tank.
Yep.
They come in and pull it off and can it,
Yep.
all of it, and then you can sell it or whatever for a price.
Yeah, they do all the testing, everything like that. Everything for you. And it just kind of speaks to Dan's mind when it comes to craft beer and everything. Knowing that he started this 2013 or
Yep.
so. Obviously from Colorado, he had gone back to Colorado and he had seen a company out there that was doing something similar. But at that point, everybody associated cans with kind of the macro stuff. Everybody wanted
sure.
everybody wanted bottles. At that point,
And everybody was bottling.
yeah, everybody, and a lot of people were buying bottling lines, and then later coming to Buckeye and saying, "I only have so much shelf space. I need to stack here. How do I do that?" But to be that far ahead, I think it showed, kind of Dan's knowledge, of the industry.
Totally. And
Yeah.
so, that was some of my first introduction to some people in the area. If you think back to that time frame, 2015 was when Half-Hearted came on the scene, right? And so I'd heard through BJ about this place. And so I drove down to Marengo, Ohio, right, to a tiny little house with plastic fermenters and guys riding around on tricycles with helmets on.
Shut up.
With a little bark lounger and a one-barrel system, right? And pumped out a ton of, Musk of the Minotaur, which got canned and was in the Brown Stadium, right? In that fall. Tony out at Double Wing, Cellarettes had some cans, which was again canned by, and they still use Ironheart for canning, as well as pretty much everybody else in the area. But that was kind of the first introduction to, okay, now I'm going to go big time because now I have a mobile canning unit, and I'm now in charge of putting all of these cans at the Brown Stadium, which lasted for a few years. So Keith at and then Roy over at Cornerstone, they put Erie Blue, I believe, at the stadium. Tony had a couple beers in there, and Half-Hearted, and then Erie Blue, and they literally just that's how it started. That's how craft beer got into the Cleveland Brown Stadium, and again, big foresight in that. And we worked really hard to try and do it the next year. We just didn't get a chance to get open to put Barista Blonde out there. It didn't happen, and then they stopped and went to distributors, because now at that point everybody's starting to get distributors, and then it becomes pay to play.
Yeah.
And then people who pay to play aren't invited because you're not
Get preference.
Because I'm not paying to play, and that's a big deal. And numbers those people paid to be in those stadiums is, I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah.
It's crazy, but that's a fun story, right? So that's kind of the background of knowing these two individuals and seeing as Dan then left, and then opened up Ghost Tree, which has, and obviously starting small in Amherst and having a kind of a big push and draw in their local community, and seeing them jump right across the street from another brew kettle,
Yep.
right? And what that was going to look like in their town, and really connecting to their town. So I want to talk about that. Talk about the name Ghost Tree, how you landed there across the street from Brew Kettle, what that looks like, why Ghost Tree, and why 5 barrels, why all those things. I think that Dan has kind of prepped you on some of those conversations.
Definitely.
So let's talk about that.
Sure. So obviously, John and Dan, decided at one point to just pull the trigger. Hey, we're starting a brewery. They talked about it for years. At this point, they'd been brewing together for 7-8 years. Started looking at buildings. Obviously, both live right on the outskirts of Amherst. They wanted it to be local. I think Dan's wife also pushed for that. Between the whole Ironheart thing of traveling, 30 minutes to 3 hours away based on where they were going to can it. Hey, if you're going to do something else with beer, we want it to be close.
And forgetting parts, having to drive 3 hours back to get the part and 3 hours back to the canning line.
Yeah.
That's happened.
So they saw an opopportunity in downtown Amherst, for anybody that's, and I had never been there before I started really working at Ghost Tree, and it's got a nightlife.
It does.
It truly
it's a nice
does
little town.
It has a nightlife. Not like, your rowdy college crowd or anything like that, but a lot of cool, restaurants, bars down there, all kind of have their own little, flair So they went in and bought the building downtown. At that point they gutted it down to the brick walls. I've seen pictures of what that looked like before. The bar is not even on the same side of the building at this point.
Correct.
Went in and gutted it. When they first bought the building, I don't think they had a name. The name kind of eluded them for the longest time. And a lot of times, and it's funny, I talked to John about this, and Dave and I have this conversation about kind of homebrewers and homebrew clubs having their own names. Mm-hmm. I think they ran into a lot of issues that they'd come up with a creative name only to realize that a homebrewer either trademarked it or
there's another brewery
had some sort of licensing behind it. So I think they were struggling for a while with that, and I think it was actually John's wife. Amherst is known for having a lot of quarries, around the area and stuff like that, all the sandstone quarries and stuff. And I think they were out there one day, and they were she was looking out over the lake, and if you look over any of the quarries or lakes that are there, that you see a whole bunch of kind of the dead trees rising out of the water. That have been there for years and years and years, and I think she just kind of made a comment, and called them, a ghost tree.
Okay.
Look at them. They look, so eerie, just kind of sitting there. All these trees around them are alive and vibrant and stuff, that are around the water, but they're just kind of dead. But they're still, they stand out.
Yeah.
And if you ever look at kind of the logo, you see that kind of the dead tree in the middle will just stand out. It's a different color. It's everything like that. And I think it kind of stuck. I don't think anybody's ever heard those referred to as ghost trees.
That's cool. That's a good story.
So,
I like that.
Yeah, so I think it kind of stuck there, and we get complimented on the name all the time just because it is different, but it is kind of a story on how did you come to that name, and anybody around the Amherst area, and if they know those quarries and they go hiking out there, or they go visit those, they know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay, yeah.
So you named a brewery, and they also coined a name for those style of trees.
Exactly. Yeah. I just,
pretty cool.
Hopefully she takes credit.
So
for
from
that,
now on, they're called ghost trees. See, I didn't know that, by the way.
I didn't either. That's cool.
Yeah.
I never even asked. You see the logo and you see a tree there by itself, and I thought maybe some of his northwestern roots kind of showed some of that. But what a great story!
Yeah, I like that. That's cool.
Fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of people though will come up and say, they get us confused with Mad Tree, and I'm like, well, that's kind of cool. If you're going to get us confused with somebody, a brewery that size, opposite side of the state, but
Speaking of names, did you name that tiger yet?
Oh,
what was your suggestion? I think it was Blood Tiger or Tiger Blood.
Tiger Blood, but
Tiger
that's.
Blood. I think that's what.
Here's what you do. Here's my idea. Here's what you do.
Bunch.
Get in contact with a zoo. Get them to bring, cage up a tiger, bring him out.
What?
Bring him out to the brewery, and then you make a big event, and you advertise it, and you sell raffle tickets. Okay? You 2 winners, or losers, as it would be. You give them laser pointers. You let the tiger go. These guys point the lasers at each other. Whoever gets mauled is the winner. They get to name the tiger. The loser gets a growler a month for a year. I don't know. Pay up your insurance. I think somebody's going to get hurt.
How much were you drinking today before we came down here?
Well, just this 11% beer.
So with the tiger though, we haven't had a we had a conversation that yes, we need to name it after last week's episode. We need to come up with it's a mascot.
It is a mascot.
Yeah.
Obviously last week we pulled some nails. Dan and I had a discussion this week that the quad is ready to come up. It's ready to come out. So I think here within the next few days, the quad will come out of the basement, and we'll see if we can maybe tie in the mascot tiger name.
Yes.
With the quad.
You need to.
And maybe go from there.
The tiger's Ghost. His name is Ghost.
It's true. Tiger King.
Ghost Tiger.
How many people have a Tiger
GT.
King? Oh, GT.
I don't know.
This is where you email us at blabbermalt@gmail.com and give us a name for the tiger. And
you could
give
still
Dave a psychiatrist number.
You could still do the same thing with the laser pointers. You just get a cat, a house cat or whatever. People buy circles, and people try to get them to go to my circle, and that circle gets to name the tiger. I don't know. Or put names on the circle. It's safer and less liability.
Yes,
but
without a real.
I got
tiger.
a lot of ideas. I got a lot of ideas.
Well, email any suggestions for the tiger, any name suggestions to the BlabberMalt Show, and they'll forward it on to Ghost Tree, and maybe Ghost Tree will be able to, if we find something we really like that sticks, maybe we'll cut a deal for naming rights.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Got to. So right there it is, blabbermalt@gmail.com. If you don't know what we're talking about, go back to last week's episode and watch us talk about the tiger mascot, and then you'll get the whole glimpse of what we were discussing. You probably should have a beer or two before that so you really get the full mindset. And then come back and type us out your response, and we'll send it on to you guys.
It was, it was a glorious story about how, kind of going back to, they demolished the building, completely gutted the building inside. It was a bar previously, but, they found a piece of drywall that was kind of leading to nowhere, but they pulled it out, and there was this glorious picture of a white albino tiger that is holding a keg and giving it a hug. and it's a real picture. I mean, it's an old style keg too. Obviously they used it as a sign that, hey, we're doing the right thing. We just found a picture.
I know.
It was a sign.
That's why that picture that I posted for the reminder earlier today was a tiger with a keg.
Yep.
So people are like, what does this have to do with Ghost Tree?
Didn't watch our last episode.
There you go. Got to keep up, people.
We're not going to tell you at what point in the episode it was in.
No, the whole thing.
You can watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
Watch the whole thing. So looking at heading to the next question on 2.0 and the demolishing the whole building, you saw a step down into the brewery. They dug that out and part of the basement. So there's a whole huge open area to try to get down to where they were at. And then had it repoured and ready for the brewery.
Oh, wow. I didn't know you. So you repoured that subfloor. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Dug it all the way down.
That's a project.
Yeah. And it kind of goes back to, one of the owners, John Rush, just his thinking and his engineering background, and, and the hard work he puts into that and the hard work he put into that building, just when they say gutted it, they truly mean gutted. It was, from the floor up, it's literally new. But the city has, I guess, obviously, seen that, embraced that. They see that hard work that went into the place, and I think it really kind of stuck with the community. To see the growth of regulars, that are in the tap room, and that's what Amherst, they support their local businesses downtown. But to see those people, come into the brewery, Mug Club members, they have a Mug Club at Ghost Tree.
We saw
see
that,
them buy that, and sit there and a couple nights a week or something like that, and just have a couple of their favorite beers.
Yeah,
and that's really growing with the community and growing with the base, and that's been Ghost Tree's philosophy and their business plan and model ever since day one.
Yeah, it's super nice when you have the municipality you're based in supporting you. Avon, I'm looking at you, city of.
No comment.
Yeah.
So we have a 5-barrel PKW system, just like we do. And that model is very good for a pub, right? It keeps your beer flowing and moving and fresh. And you can do some really cool things, one-offs, barrel programming, all the things that help you do those, run over your taps. But there's a demand for Ghost Tree beer outside of that. Right. And so it's led to what is now being called 2.0.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Right. So we saw a little sneak peek of an outdoor building on Northeast Ohio Craft Brewery. Right. Sleuthed it up. Right.
You're gonna Google Maps and
finding some
search.
things out there and doing all those things. Shout out to them. He's on vacay right now, but definitely sleuthed it out. So we're gonna get the scoop right here today. What is 2.0? What's it going to be inside of it? What's the plan? If you can tell all those things, spill the beans, brother. Let's go.
Sure. So, obviously, I think I was the one that broke it to the rest of the Ghost Tree crew when Northeast Ohio Craft Brewers News posted. I was just, I think I was at lunch or something like that, and I just popped on Facebook and I saw that, and I was like, I barely know about 2.0. So, at this point, I'm like, there's maybe less than 10 people that know about, the whole operation, and there they are, parked in the parking lot with a nice picture. And it wasn't just a Google. I mean, somebody literally saw that and then drove there and snapped a picture and posted it within 3 or 4 hours of that, I think that license being filed.
Wow.
It happens that fast.
So-
I'm not gonna lie to you.
Those guys are good.
Yeah, and I mean, shout out to them. You know, we've talked to them several times. You know, they were at Oktoberfest with us. You know,
Yeah.
introduced themselves there. You know, fun group. You know, and so not a lot has still come out about 2.0. What we can say about it though is right now, you know, we have the capacity for about 500 barrels a year out of the current 5 barrel. In the last year, we've Brian Mastalone, Dan's brother-in-law, has come on and has been killing it with distribution keg sales. We've made it over to 60 other bars and restaurants at this point. We have,
Just self-distributed? That's
self-distributed.
great.
We have 40 to 50 regular accounts at any time.
Wow.
Yukon Cornelius, as Dan mentioned last weekend, our Christmas sale just went out to 40 restaurants and bars last week. We're already getting the orders for the second kegs to come through.
Nice.
So really trying to establish those kind of flagship beers. Cash After 10, kind of leads the way with
Cash
that.
After 10, baby.
But from there, what 2.0 will do is increase our capacity from around 500 barrels to 2,700 barrels a year.
Do the math. What size is that?
So 2.0 has a variety of size of fermenters to house all of our flagship core beers, several of which you've had last week, with the goal to both continue to grow with the distribution within bars and restaurants, but to get it back into kind of Dan's realm of canning and distributing from there.
Okay. So now you probably, I would hope, do a lot of, big batches of the core beers on that system. You think that's going to give the 5-barrel system a little leeway to do some crazier
So
stuff?
that's, I think I highlighted that last week. I think why it's been so exciting for me to, continue to remain on a Ghost Tree is it's fun to just, brew beer. I think anybody can attest. It's fun to just brew beer, whether it's home brewing or professional or anything like that. But I think, John and Brian, that big system is something that they're putting together and is proud of. They're proud as hell of that. But Dan and I are the ones that are the beer geeks, the beer nerds. And I still homebrew, not just I would say just because it's fun. I like to keep the taps going in the basement to begin with, but I think it's also important for breweries to keep ears to the ground at a point as well. And Ghost Tree kind of feels that same way as well. Hearing about new yeast products, new hop extracts. You and I had a big conversation last week after the show about hop extracts and stuff like that. That stuff gets Dan and I excited, and so we look at the 5-barrel system, the PKW system. We know that system inside and out, and it's like what limits can we push this to? What's the fun stuff we can do? That's
some
the
R&D.
exciting stuff. Yeah, that's the exciting stuff. I think. The barrel program is something we've touted at. That was a huge success with our first launch last year with Nightwalker. The quad this year is gonna, I just blow it out. We the few of us that have had it, know what that's coming. But how can we grow that program? How can we, continue to push the envelope? Because I think, breweries, it's important that they understand their market. Amherst is a light beer market.
Yep.
They like their light beers, but your people that come in the door that are gonna, I guess, help you grow the brewery. They're gonna put the name out there. Your ones that travel around and they want something unique and they want something bold. And that's I think what Dan and I look to do with the now what will become the small, brew system is to continue to push that envelope, and have fun with it.
Yeah, that's great. I'm excited for you guys. It's going to be awesome to see what happens.
Oh yeah.
It's fun to see, fun to be a part of. Just in the last year, the growth. And I remember when I was coming through Ghost Tree, just coming through for work and grabbing dinner and a beer. Out of 12 taps, there would be 6 or 7 IPAs, and I wasn't going to complain. And they were all good and they were all solid. But seeing how the city has what their feedback's been and adjusting that, that was with the homebrew pub crawl last week, and that was one of the things is how balanced that tap list is right now. Anywhere from Belgians to wheats to lagers to hazies to West Coast to stouts to keeping it balanced and continuing to do that, but having some fun in there too.
Yeah, and you never know. Somebody's going to be there and they're drinking their light beer and they'll try something here and there, and all of a sudden lightning strikes, and they're like, I never knew about this. You always think if somebody's ever had a Belgian beer, oh, it's yeasty, it makes my ears red.
Same.
Yeah. But, you discover a golden, a strong ale. You're like, that is really good.
Yep.
And then you're off to the races there, and you create a new fan, and then that person goes out and tells their friends, and then all of a sudden Ghost Tree has a new beer they have to move up to the big system. You know?
Yeah, and I think when 2.0 came on, at that point it was always we need to move Cash After 10 up, we need to move Aloha, Ohio up.
Right.
Those are our big distribution ones. But in the last year, we've seen Coffee Blonde take off. To where that's another one we can just barely keep on. And now that one's kind of getting the 10 barrel treatment in house, where we have the 2 10-barrel fermenters, and that one's getting double batched.
Yeah,
You're seeing the lager above and beyond anything, as Dan mentioned, the number one seller, where that has to be double 10-barrel batch. So we already have 5 beers or so that are already at that production level ready.
Move them up.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, but that frees up a lot of opportunity for fun beers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
To follow.
Fun, one-off, all the good things.
Yeah.
Speaking of one-offs, did you have another beer to try tonight?
Yeah.
We don't have to. I mean, we can continue to drink this crazy 11% beer.
This
So
is
do
a
the
barrel-aged Clash of Clams. Clams.
We can hold on to that one then. We could not waste a
Okay.
32 ouncer. Not there's anything wrong with a barrel-aged Clash of Clans.
Clams.
I can do a barrel-aged clam. It's fine with me. Smoky, wonderful. So when I have one more question, because looking at before we move on, connection to your community, you have some beers that are named Aloha, Ohio, Cash for 10. Any names specific to like your location? Anything fun about those names? Do you choose things that are kind of Amherst centric?
So, starting out, our Church Street our address is on Church Street. We throw that one out there. That's kind of the first one that's kind of a, ode to the hometown kind of thing. But, Dan mentioned last week the FTL lager.
Right, yeah.
Not necessarily Amherst centric, but,
Northeast Ohio.
Northeast
centric,
Ohio,
yeah.
I mean, a little
For
bit.
sure.
Not necessarily where, the names have been tied to the city, but I think, Ghost Tree for a while, obviously our milk stout's called Milk Stout. Our Coffee Blonde's called Coffee Blonde. But as we, obviously we're not just going to, distribute that out as Ghost Tree Coffee Blonde. There's probably going to be a little bit more tied to it. Seeing the way that the city has embraced the brewery, especially in the last year, to see the feedback, to see how it's manipulated that tap list to what it is now, it's very well balanced, very well received. We owe it to the city and the community to really continue to kind of give back to them, because they've embraced us.
Yep.
And it's one of those that Aloha, Ohio. Yes, it's a pineapple era, with the Sultana hops and stuff like that. But a lot of people think Aloha, Hawaii and stuff like that. But then they're like, oh, Ohio. But if we distribute past Ohio, do we have to call it Aloha, Michigan? It's one of those things. Do we have to change that name or what? But so I think there's going to be a little bit more when we get into the fun stuff. Dan and I, on brew days, we sit there and we keep a log of just fun, beer names that come to mind based on something that happens in the brewery, something that happens with a customer out in the brewery, and it's one of those that's really going to probably start following.
Nice.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I'm excited.
job.
Excited for what's coming.
We'll get 2.0 here probably in the next several weeks. Will be launched. I'm sure at that point.
I saw some pictures today.
More pictures and everything to follow, and then probably have the BlabberMalt Show. Probably love to have them come out. And do a
That would
tour
be
of
sweet.
that
Do a little
facility.
tour.
I was over there earlier, and I was talking with John and Brian, and I said, the problem with this right now is you have this massive walk-in cooler. The system's awesome, but we don't have a way to serve beer over here yet.
Ooh.
I said, you guys have been busting butt, working over here, 60, 75 hours a week, just focused on this, but there's no way to pour beer.
Yeah.
So
Get it off the
Let's
break.
change that.
Yeah.
we cannot, at this point, commit to having guest until
Okay.
more beer.
Well, when that happens, we will be there. We promise.
Yes.
Love to have you.
Done. Put it down on paper with the name of the tiger.
Yes. Got to
It's gonna
name that
happen.
tiger.
So last thing before we go into the next part of the show, how do people, I know you mentioned Church Street, where are you located? How do people get a hold of you? Do you have any deets on social media?
Sure. So downtown Amherst, obviously, across from the movie theater, diagonal from Brew Kettle, diagonal from Ziggy's, pretty much across the street from Cedar Pub there.
Yep.
Anybody that's around Amherst, you just have to name drop one of those, and they seem to know exactly where you're at. GhostTreeBrewing.com or GhostTreeBrew or co.com. Facebook, Instagram. Those are the main socials. The website. You can find us on Untapped, obviously.
Yep.
Website's always updated with the current menu. Obviously, great food program. Award-winning pizza program. We do food specials almost every night. Tonight's, my favorite. I think you guys were there last Tuesday for it.
Yeah.
2 beers and a pizza for $20.
Great deal.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
A lot of people that do a pizza and a beer, but you really need 2 beers, man. Come
do.
on. You need 2
Especially there.
beers.
You got to have 2 beers.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that one's been, just awesome. I love going in on Tuesdays and seeing the crowd that comes in for that. Thursday, the wing night, as Dan mentioned, a beer just a dozen wings and a beer, $15. It's another one. I somehow find my way to work at the brewery on Tuesdays and Thursday nights.
It's smart.
I wonder why.
So,
Strange.
Well done.
Hey, who's Nancy?
that is my mom.
Oh, she sent
Hi,
us a
Mom.
heart. She sent us a heart.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy.
Uh-huh.
All right.
It's time for
So that's coffee blonde.
She's a coffee blonde.
Nice.
Oh, coffee blonde. Yeah.
So
All right.
Dave-
So homebrew happenings. I gotta show you this. How do I do this?
boom.
Garage.
What?
This is going to be the new brewery. If it all works out as planned. These guys, Ohio Garage Finishers, came out, and the first process is, grind the floor down, and then it's where it's pitted from, salt and stuff that comes off your cars in the winter. They fill that, put down base epoxy coat and the flake of the color of your choice, and then come back a day later and put a nice polyaspartic asparatic coating with a little bit of grit to give you a
So
little
don't
bit of
slip
grip.
and go down.
Yeah, I gotta.
What color did you go with?
Well, I'll show you.
Yes, you will.
It's called Polar Ice, and it's kind of just a dark gray and a light gray, white, and there's a little bit of a blue fleck in there. You can't really tell from that picture, but we'll go up after. You can check it out.
Nice.
So then I got to talk about, I put these, so, I need some storage to get rid of some of the crap that I have in the garage. So this is going to be for Christmas decorations and some tools that I don't really use all that often. Just store them up on the roof there and get them out of the way so I can bring all kind of brew equipment back in.
So
Yeah.
my wife Kayla is watching. Just
Oh,
take note of that
yeah,
idea.
yeah.
We need some more space in the garage.
That's pretty neat, by the way.
Yeah,
that's-
it's pretty cool. University of YouTube teach you anything you need to know.
That is true.
Yeah. So anyway,
Well done.
yeah. So more homebrew happenings.
Yep.
Son of Bruzilla results are in.
You got to hear it.
Oh God, my beer got eviscerated.
Really?
Very bad rating. Now
Do you have your brew sheet with you?
I got no,
Did you rip it
I,
up, throw it
I
away, and
don't.
burn
I'm
it?
not going to put that up there. It scored 15 out of 50.
Ooh.
Oh, it hurts, guys. But
Did you get good feedback, though?
I did get some feedback. The one feedback was burn that barrel.
Ooh. Yikes.
But seriously, it was. I think I maybe should have entered it as a wild ale because the barrel gave it some wild funk. But it's so as an English barley wine shouldn't have any funk. So that's what I'm telling myself. Make myself feel better. But we
Happens
talk
over
about
time
it.
too, right?
I've had some winners. They can't all be winners. So
Did you know that Dave
shut up.
was The Sam Adams long shot winner.
I saw that.
Oh,
and
wow.
I was going to assume it, but I didn't want to.
Yeah.
That's
But 15 out of 50. Holy shnikes. So.
Yikes, brother. I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. I'll take it to heart. I'm not going to make another beer in that barrel. So
Burn the barrel.
well, it's going to be a
So
decoration.
the next beer is going to be called Burn the Barrel.
Burn the barrel.
Just slide a picture like that, just under the label when you submit it.
Yeah,
Just,
yeah.
Hey,
My name is
yeah,
Dave
just-
Cousineau.
so you know.
So when we're talking about homebrew competitions, you have to take that. You have to take that criticism, and,
For sure.
Even as a professional brewer, I imagine you have to.
Yeah, Untapped every single day.
Yeah, yeah. I get.
1 star. I don't like IPAs.
Ooh,
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, maybe not order that next time.
It happens all the time.
1.75 lemonade shandy. It tastes like lemonade.
So what's ABC got going on?
So we just released our Manganero, which is our mango habanero pale ale. Our French Creek is back by popular demand. One of those ones you can't let go. A nice classic, really kind of hopped up West Coast pale ale.
Yep. Very nice.
And Black Widow, one of my favorite beers we've been brewing for decades, is on our black IPA. I love it. It is just stellar. And Christmas Miracle is out. Obviously, it's in cans. We have it in draft. You can find it at One Stop in Avon.
Mm-hmm.
It's the only place we distribute currently. And go pick up a 4-pack. Take it home with you for the holidays. Come get growlers too. We'll do that for you as well. This week is Black Friday and Small Business Saturday. We are closed on with Thursday, but we're going to do a little pint special, kind of like you can buy a pint glass for a gift for somebody, or if you just want to come in and do a pint and fill it with a beer, we'll do that special. We typically do for pint days. We'll do that for Friday and Saturday. Medina has the same thing going on, but they're going to also discount some swag. There they got some swag that they've kind of kept on to just for a very specific purpose, and gonna rock it out. So
Nice.
Yeah, we're all open on Wednesdays, so tomorrow's gonna be a big day for a lot of people.
A lot
one
of
the biggest days
people
of the year
coming home.
for breweries and bars, and ZZ's is excited for that. Medina has live music, Twin Bee Project for the night, so come on out, see us.
Yeah. We haven't talked about the pork rinds in a while, so I'm just going to bring up the pork rinds. Get the pork rinds with any dry rub you want, and just get it tossed in the dry rub, and then get a sauce of your choice or a couple sauces. They're pork rinds, people. Come on,
fresh pork rinds, made to order.
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's great. It's all good.
Yeah, what's going on at Ghost Tree?
Status quo for the most part this week.
Yeah.
We all need time to recover from Thanksgiving. So
True
normal hours obviously closed on Thanksgiving itself, but normal hours throughout the weekend. Not going to open early on Friday. We want people to support kind of the small businesses in Amherst before coming and enjoying a Ghost Tree beer for later in the day and obviously dinner and stuff like that on perhaps Friday. But other than that, no beer releases or anything this week. Getting caught back up, to make sure we're going to get through the holidays when it comes with, Yukon and all that other stuff. But as I mentioned, the quad is quickly approaching. So
can't wait for that.
You gonna bottle it?
We've discussed it. I think there's going to be a limited run. I think there's going to be a limited run on the bottles. It was one of those we did Nightwalker, and I think we did close to 200 bottles of Nightwalker, and not knowing how it was going to take off as being the first, obviously barrel aged bottle released through Ghost Tree, and it flew off the shelf.
Yeah.
And it's one of those, all that hard work of bottling each individual item, made it worth it at that point.
So you're using I think we talked about the Blickman
gun. Yeah. For every single one. Which as a home brewer, I'm pretty well versed in, but same thing, just getting it, back to that. We know that's what's going to have to happen with the quad again, but we know the reception's going to be great on it. So I think we're
that's
looking
going
forward
to be
to it.
Yeah. We had a sneak peek, and we had a couple different barrels, and then we Mike blended them, and it was
so good.
Yeah.
Why don't you take us down through some cool beer happenings?
Yeah, let's go through some beer happenings.
Music as we're getting out of time. This is great.
We are. We're getting down there.
Hours.
So we got Blue Heron. 'Twas the Heron's First Christmas English Amber coming out.
Spiced. It's good.
Yeah. I haven't had it, but it's out now.
And if you want to grab that, go Friday to the Beer Fest
Okay. Yeah.
in Medina.
Good tip.
Link below.
Masthead has 3 special releases. They're available they came available for pre-order today.
Yep.
And we have Colony Collapse, which is a double dry hop triple IPA with honey.
Love it.
Yeah, sounds awesome.
It's really good.
Fruit Blood Nipa with strawberry and passion fruit. That sounds delicious.
Mm-hmm.
And a bourbon barrel-aged baseball bat imperial stout with raspberries and peanut butter, but no pieces of baseball bat.
Correct.
Yeah. No
Yep.
actual.
No, those are the
baseball
names
stuff.
for both of their kind of fruited sour, not fruited sour, but
Yeah.
fruited hazy, and then their fruited or pastry stout.
Yeah, so I
So
mean,
good.
And I think that's super smart. You have these special releases, and you have cans, and you have a release day. You can buy them, and then you got to go pick them up. It's just something fun to do.
Sure is.
They do the special releases. Like in February, they have a couple more special releases. I think they do, and it's just creates excitement around your beers, and I think it's just a fun thing to do. Arche, since I had that Twitchy pumpkin beer, I wanted to mention they have their Imperial Eggnog Stout coming out.
I want to try that one.
Yeah. Hop Getaway Double IPA Winter Edition. I don't think that's a winter warmer or a holiday ale. I think it's just a double IPA, but it's with their hop lineup for the winter. They have the Gingerbread Imperial Oatmeal Stout. You can get it at the brewery or at One Stop. I saw that they have all those beers
Yes, yes, yes.
in Avon. Yeah.
I'm going to go.
Yeah. Southern Tier, Cleveland has the Old Man Winter Ale. It's in bottles, available at the brewery. Noble Beast, Bourbon Barrel Aged Cookies and Milk.
Good beer.
That's
Yeah.
a winner.
So I saw this, and I saw this on the Neo Craft Brewing site because that's where I get all my news.
Mm-hmm.
The Canton Repository had an article on everything in Medina, Stark, Portage, Summit, and Tuscarawas counties. All the winter ales and all the Christmas ales. They did a write-up. Medina's Miracle is in there. Miracly. I'm straying from my pronunciation.
You got it.
I've learned. So I mean that's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I was reading through the list, and there's like a lot of beers I didn't know about, but might be worth a drive out to check it out.
There were a lot. I know there's that many breweries in that. But I mean, obviously, there's a whole bunch of counties there too. So.
Yeah, there's a lot of breweries. Regarding beer events we have coming up, we have Rock the Cask Bar at Terrestrial.
Yep.
The name doesn't surprise me. Those guys are
Wonderful.
fans of the Clash. A couple other breweries are going to be there. It's at Terrestrial, but Noble Beast, Brick and Barrel, Bookhouse, Collision Ben, and Butcher and the Brewer are going to be there. So that's a stellar lineup of breweries.
Remember the date for that?
I do not. That is.
Just look it up online.
Yeah, it's on Facebook. It's all over the place. Yeah, that's a faux pas there.
No, it's fine.
I saw in Middletown, Ohio, there's a new brewery that officially just opened up, Gravel Road Brewing Company.
Mm-hmm. Saw that.
That's down near. Is it
Between
Warped
Dayton and
Wing?
Cincinnati,
Yeah.
Warped
Cincinnati.
Wing is down there? Yeah, Cincinnati
between
area.
Dayton and Cincinnati.
Yep.
So that's another reason to go down to Cincinnati.
Go on to Cincy.
Yeah. So here's a random event that we got to talk about.
Yes, I saw that. I
Kenny
haven't talked to him
Hyman.
yet.
Kenny Hyman is hanging up the microphone.
The brewer.
The brewer of Seville is done.
Brother.
As we mentioned last week as well, Kenny is the one that got me connected with Ghost Tree.
Yeah.
So certainly sad news there.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll take a break and come back.
Yeah.
It's a lot. He does a lot of work.
Yeah. He was gonna. Yeah. He had mentioned on our show that he was gonna maybe change the format and maybe branch out, but bring in guests remotely.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Maybe he had second thoughts.
We'll get the scoop for you.
Yeah, we got to get the scoop on that. That's sad. I'll miss his voice in the community.
For sure.
Yeah.
What's going on in the music world?
So we got Billy Morris and the Sunset Strip Wednesday, tomorrow, at the Hooley House in Westlake. And there's also some big news coming up for Smokin' Rock and Roll.
Saw those posts.
Coming up soon. Can't say anything, but yeah. Chris Isaac, MGM Northfield Park, November 24th. That's not usually a artist I would put on the list, but I recognized him, as something a lot of people like. Other people, not me.
Hey, come on now.
Everybody knows that one song.
That one song, yeah. So same night, I'd rather go to the Baroness show.
You would?
A little bit heavier, yeah. Next night, November 25th, Grunge DNA. They're going to be at the House of Blues, 90s grunge band. I'm all about the grunge, even though it killed the hair metal. Sorry, Matthias.
It's okay.
Okay. Brett Michaels' Fall Party Gras is also the same night, MGM Northfield Park.
And then?
He does play. He's going to play a lot of Poison and some other stuff. Oh, I see what you're looking at.
I know.
Yeah, I finally got our tickets. December 1st, Steel Panther. Yes, we're going to be there. If you're a BlabberMaltster and you want to come out to the Steel Panther throw, do it.
Do it.
We'll be there. We'll
Temple
film
live.
We'll do a little something. End of December, House of Blues. We have Dirty Honey. I mentioned that last year. It's kind of a new band I just discovered. They're kind of a straight up just American rock and roll band. They should be a lot more popular than they are, but go check them out.
Absolutely. Email us. Questions, mistakes,
comments, mistakes, concerns. I know.
Tiger names,
please.
Could be some, maybe free beer, some swag, some food, maybe on the line for that. So
yeah. So it's a white tiger hugging a keg.
If you don't, yes, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. You got it.
It's time to grain out. Grain out.
All right, so these guys don't know this, but we're going to be at Rozzy's next week.
For sure.
I emailed them, hit them up on Facebook Messenger, got no response. So we're just going to go in and do it.
We've talked to them a few times. We're just going to do it.
Yeah, we're just going to do it. So,
Because we can't have someone there and back again because what's happening the week after that?
Oh, man, that is the December Christmas ale tasting right here in studio.
Right here.
We got so many people coming.
I know. You set up lights back here and lights in the peanut gallery.
I'm working on a Christmas annex over there. We're going to have to get another camera. It's going to be nuts.
It's crazy.
If you got room, but if not, I will at least make sure that we have Yukon Cornelius.
We have Yukon here for sure. Totally.
You bring Yukon, you're in.
We can make that happen.
Yeah.
As we roll out, Dave, let us know how to find us here on the BlabberMalt Show.
Yeah, let's do this right here. See, I put the little icons up there. You have to like and subscribe and follow, share us, comment, get involved. Also emailing us blabbermalt@gmail.com. Yeah.
I'm trying to touch the buttons over here.
Yeah, touch the buttons. Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. My man. Nice. All right, guys. Appreciate you, Mike, as always. Thanks for coming down. Love Ghost Tree. Get there if you haven't been there. Check them out. Go try their beers. Eat some pizza. Hang out. Tuesday's a great job. Great time to do that.
Pizza night.
Yep.
Pizza and 2 beers, $20.
Of course.
Hey, look forward to coming back out to 2.0.
Can't wait.
Dan, while you're out and about, have safe travels. Until then, everybody,
stay malty, Cleveland.